And welcome to the Faith and More podcast. This is a trans-denominational podcast. All are welcome and safe, no matter what your faith is or isn't. My name is Reverend Angel Wise, and I'll be your host. I am an ordained licensed minister, director of the Oblates Perpetual Light, intuitive healer, Kabbalist, and life coach. I firmly believe that the divine works through us each day to help us. These angels and saints are so very humble, many of us don't know they exist or existed. Each week, we will explore these amazing beings. We will also explore topics that can help your faith, no matter what it is or isn't. The goal of this show is to inspire, encourage, educate, uplift, strengthen, and heal you and your faith. So be sure to follow and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And this is where I would say enjoy the show. As you can tell, I use pre-recorded intros that I do, but welcome, everyone. Welcome to the show. How are you all doing? It's wonderful. It is wonderful to see you. Thank you all for being here. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for finding us. It is my deepest hope and sincerest prayer that you find everything that you're looking for in a podcast, especially a faith-based podcast, here and more. And if you're returning, infinite thanks, blessings, and love for being a long-time listener and supporter of the show. It is because of you that this show is here. So let me turn off the intro music here. This is all new to me, of course. And this is, for those of you who have been longtime listeners know, this is the first time we've done we're doing a video episode. So if you're listening and you hear me say this, then you might want to go over to our YouTube channel and check out the video. And you can find that at youtube.com/@faithandmore podcast. There's always links in the show description for that. So without further ado, I hope you all enjoyed last week's episode. To me, that was, and I know you all hear me, longtime listeners hear me say this all the time, that was absolutely one of my favorite episodes. It was just wow. And if you haven't heard the episode, go back and check out the episode before this one. It's titled, Life in a Box and the Red Apple. Mind-blowing episode. It really is. It's deep beyond deep. It really is. I can't stress that enough. So anyway, so here we are, and this week's episode is going to be kind of a little bit of a branch, you could say, from last week's episode, since it's still fresh in our hearts and in our minds, especially in our hearts. And I wanted to keep going on this topic. I keep saying, season 4, we talked about it so much about the importance of going from the head, the mind, to the heart and living from the heart. And last week's episode really, if anything, showed us the importance of this and how we can't really trust the input from our minds because there's so many filters from our senses to our reticular activating system, our RAS, and much more. We found out that we only perceive 5% at any given moment of what is truly going on around us. And man, could you only imagine? 4 gigabytes of information we receive at any given second. And we only receive, what did I say, 2,000 bits or 200 bits or something? Help me here, folks. It was 5% or less. And then that 5% goes through the reticular activating system. I point to the back of my head because that's where it's located, at the base of your skull and your base of your brain. So there's the reticular activating system that filters, and then you've got your senses that filter. It's a mess. So again, we're going to continue on a branch off of that. And this week, we're going to be talking about just a passage from an amazing book called Architects of Fate by Orison Swett Marden. And I'll spell that out for you. It's Orison, Orison, Swett, Swett, Marden, Marden, written just a few days ago in 1897. So here's the excerpt that I wanted to take from that amazing book for us for today's show. God knows where the richest melodies of our lives are and what drill and what discipline are necessary to bring them out. The frost, the snows, the tempest, the lightnings are the rough teachers that bring the tiny acorn to a sturdy oak. Fierce winters are as necessary to it as long summers. It is, excuse me, folks, it is its half-century struggle with the elements for existence, wrestling with the storm, fighting for its life from the moment that it leaves the acorn until it goes into the ship that gives its value. Without this struggle, it would have been characterless, staminaless, nerveless, and its grain would have never been susceptible of high polish. The most beautiful as well as the strongest woods are found not in tropical climates, but in the severe climates where they have to fight the frost and the winter's cold. Many a man and women have never found themselves until they have lost everything. Adversity stripped them only to discover them. Obstacles, hardships are the chisel and the mallet which shape the strong life into beauty. The rough ledge on the hillside complains of the drill of the blasting powder, which disturbs its peace of centuries. It is not pleasant to be rent with powder, to be hammered and squared by the quarryman. It is not pleasant. Excuse me, here I go. Sorry, folks. But look again. There we go. But look again. Behold the magnificent statue, the monument, chiseled into grace and beauty, telling its grand story of valor in the public square for centuries. Here is the key phrase I want you all to keep in mind and in your heart. Record this. The statue would have slept in the marble forever, but for the blasting, the chiseling, and the polishing, the angel of our higher and nobler selves would remain forever unknown in the rough quarries of our lives, but for the blastings of affliction, the chiseling of obstacles, and the sandpapering of 1,000 annoyances. Who has not observed the patience, the calm endurance, the sweet loveliness chiseled out of some rough life by the reversal of fortune or by some terrible affliction? And that's easier said than done, isn't it, folks? For us to, in times of strife, in times of challenge, in times of illness, for us to see and especially feel the purpose behind it. These are times when we most often feel that the Creator, the divine, Adonai, God, the universe, the all that is, that which cannot be labeled, whatever you want to call it or not call it, is the closest to us. And as we've learned here a lot recently, is that the bad times, or what we consider to be bad times and hardships in our lives, are nothing less than the Creator trying to get us to go a certain way. And I know, folks, so many of you would say, well, couldn't it just ask us or be nicer? Or, there's so many things that go through your heart and your mind. But we can never, ever fathom what the Creator is and thinks, because it's just so beyond our minds. As we saw or heard just last week, all these years we've thought the red apple was red and it isn't. So how could we if it's just something simple as a red apple we can't grasp, then how in the heavens could we possibly grasp what the Creator is? So the Creator creates these things that we call hardships and obstacles to kind of corral us or try to get us to do things and to grow and to become closer to it. And that's what it wants. It wants us to be aware of it, and not just in our head, but more so in our hearts. And, again, we've talked so much about that, and we always will from here on out, of the importance of going from the head to the heart and going from logic to feeling. And that is one of the greatest ways and easiest ways, to pretty much the only way that you can sense the Creator, that you can connect with the Creator, is through feeling, because logic just can't do it. Your mind cannot do it. Again, remember, we're only getting 5% of 100% of what is going on around us at every given second, or any given second. So again, we've got to start getting in touch with our feelings and quiet ourselves. Meditation is a great way to do that. Even just taking like 3 relaxing breaths and closing your eyes and just focusing on your breathing and let your heart open up is a great way. But listen to what the Creator is saying. Listen to what Spirit is telling you and how it's directing you. Feel that. You will feel that. Those of you who are intuitive already know this, already feel this. This is, one of your many gifts is, being able to, connect like that. Those of you who are empaths are another, you have such a great blessing to be able to take that empathic ability and connect with the Creator, with the divine, with the universe. Again, whatever you want to label that which cannot be labeled. So, I know this is so easier said than felt and understood. Is, why do bad things happen to good people? And, again, we're not the Creator. We can never, ever fathom what the Creator, at the level of the Creator, not especially in human form, not in human form. When we leave this human form, it is a possibility, a great possibility, to get closer with the divine. But you don't have to wait until then. You can do it now through your heart. This is what the divine wants. The divine created us so it could bestow, so it could give. And it created creatures, us, to receive. And that's what it wants us to do. But it also wants us to become aware of the one that bestows. And by becoming aware of the one that bestows, we become closer with that. We receive more light. We talked about that some last week, and we'll talk about that more in future shows. But the more light you receive, the more light you can give. So the more that's bestowed upon you, the more you can become not only the receiver, but also the bestower. We talked about how musicians, they are blessed to be able to write and play music. And then what do? They shouldn't keep that to themselves. They share that with everyone. And through music, people are healed. It makes them happy. It can bring back memories from, what seems like lifetimes ago. It can bring back memories of ones we've lost in this human form that have moved on. So again, that's just one of the many examples. So again, I want to reread just that one little statement again. The statue would have slept in the marble forever, but for the blasting, the chiseling, and the polishing. We see this all too often with so many people, especially the people that are around us today and today's way of life. And I'm not going to say generation, I mean generations, because my generation is as guilty of it as anybody else, of the I, me, and mine, in that I am the only one that's important and I'm the only one that exists, and everybody else is a pawn in my game. And we talked again about that. I'm sorry I keep referencing to last week, but it was a great show, and there was a lot of incredible information in that show. But we talked about that, about the people confuse that divine spark inside them with it putting them above everybody else. And like I've always said, what we have to remember is not only is the divine in you and me, but it's also in everyone. We are the creation of the Creator. All of us are equally. Not one is higher than the other, regardless of social status, of wealth, anything. It doesn't matter, from the orphan to the richest person in the world. We are all children of the Creator, and we have to start seeing things that way. So, through these hardships that the Creator is trying to, wrangle us towards becoming more aware of it, in receiving more light. By becoming more aware of it, you can receive more light, which means you can give that light, bestow that light to others and help others. The angel of our higher and nobler selves would remain forever unknown in the rough quarries of our lives, but for the blastings of afflictions, the chiseling of obstacles, and the sandpapering of 1,000 annoyances. We all know people. We were once very ignorant, as in not knowing, and very naive spiritually. And we're all still that way to varying degrees. We're all still learning and growing and evolving, and we always will. That's why we're here. That's why this show is here. And it's important that we are aware, that we have this need to grow and to evolve. But like I was saying, we see so many people, unfortunately, that are completely oblivious to spirituality. And, as we've talked about, and we talked about in the book nook, there I go. My mom loves that when I say book nook instead of the cafe. It's because it was the book nook prior to the season. So there you go, Mom. I said it. But anyway, in the last Faith and More Cafe, which was this past Wednesday, check that out if you already haven't. We talked about the attack on the Dalai Lama, and how our culture and societies today are literally attacking faiths and religions, no matter what they are, no matter what flag they fly under, no matter what their flavor. They are attacking them and trying to snuff them out. And why? It's because, and this is just my personal opinion and nothing against corporate America, or corporate world, it's that they don't want you thinking for yourself. If you're thinking for yourself, you're not going along with the machine. Those of you who have seen the Matrix movies know what I'm talking about. It's when you become aware of the machine and how it's controlling you, that you then break free from the machine, that you become aware of the divine, of the Creator, and that the more light you receive, the more light you can shine and share with others, the more you can awaken others. And as I've said so many times, this is not something that you have to beat somebody over the head with a Bible or Quran or the Zohar or Torah or whatever is your favorite holy text. It's done through you, through your actions, through your heart, and I've said and always will say, if you are just you, genuinely you, your pure essence of you from your heart, shining that light of that divine spark in you from the creator, from spirit, people will just gravitate towards you. You're like, they're like moths to a flame, and you're the flame. It's just that you're not going to burn them. You're going to help them, dare I say, save them. And what I mean by save them is that, this is a learning ground, this human form. And it's no coincidence that any of us are here. We all are here for reasons. We all have specific, objectives and goals that we either are aware of or not. And maybe some of the ones we're aware of, there's many we aren't. But again, it's no coincidence that we're here. Each and every one of us are essential. And the Creator did that. The Creator created us that way. We are essential to the Creator. We are essential to being the Creator here in human form, its physical representation, and to shine that divine light on as many beings as possible, not just humans, but all of the creations, the creators, creations. I hope that makes sense. So again, I know it is so easier said than done, folks. And I wish I had quick tips and tricks. I think we've shared some, and as they come to me, I'll share them. If you know some, please feel free to share them with me. My contact information is at the end of every show, and I'll be giving that information here shortly since we're doing this video recording. By the way, if you like this recording, you seeing me in video instead of just audio, please let me know, because this is a test to see how it goes, to see if you all enjoy this format, or if you would rather me, would rather not see my face and just hear my voice. I know we all don't sound the way we look, do we? But anyway, so on that note, I'll pause on that. And I do apologize. This episode is a bit short, but again, this is a test episode. I want to see how things go. I'm terrible at video editing. I'm terrible at audio editing. That's why a lot of, raw me, which I prefer, is in the audio, which is what you're getting in the video. There are no cuts. There's no editing here. So what you see is what is, or maybe just 5% of that. Okay. So let us get to our prayer requests and updates. Okay. Prayers, please keep the following people in your heart, thoughts, and prayers. Denise, Terry, Nicholas, Haley, Maudie, Stephanie, Sarah and Kia, Elaine, Bob, Clyde, Lisa, CJ, Lana, Megan, Molly, Gwen, Octavia, Trish, Chad and their family, brother Ashley, his family, brother Abel, Mike S. and Kelly, Michael W., Tanya, Cheryl, Elijah, his grandmother Janet, Andrew, Father Mike and Eddie, Eddie's mother Becky, Emma, Jean, Kathy, and Tony and their family, Michael T., Kyra, Courtney Moore, Jan, James, and Linda. And if you are in need of prayers, please, please, please reach out to me. Again, I'll be giving my contact information here in just a moment. I love to pray, and so does our listeners and our faith, which are our Faith and More family. So please let us pray for you. So we are going to do our closing prayer and blessings. So let us pray. Adonai, the Am that is all, we come before you asking for your help. Help us to put what we learn today and every day into practice. Help us to get out of our heads and into our hearts. Help us not to judge others. Help us all with our inner conflicts and pain. Help us to love ourselves so we can love others. Help us so we can help others. We thank you for everything, all our heart, mind, soul, spirit, and strength. Please, great Creator, bring us ever closer to you and shine your light on us so we can be mirrors of you and shine that on all of your creation. Amen. Okay, so give me just a second here. I've got to cue up my music so I can do the closing blah, blah, blah. Okay, I so hope and pray that this show, that you found everything here that you're searching for and more, especially in a faith-based podcast. Yeah, that's what this is supposed to be, right? If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and review. That helps the show get higher up on the listening list so people actually see it when they go to do a search. Very important. So this show can help as many people as possible. And if you really like the show, consider making an offering. Offerings are a great way to help sustain and improve the show and the Faith and More ministry. Offerings can be made through the Cash App. The show's cash tag is $Faith and More, or you can find us at Cash App /$Faith and More. And folks, if you can help, please do. A lot of work. And I know it doesn't seem like it as far as the quality goes, but there's a lot of time and work that goes into each and every one of these shows. And I'm not whining or complaining. It's just a fact. And it is my heart's joy to do this for you. And I want to keep this going. But there is a cost to doing this, not just my time, but materials, technology. We're always trying to improve the show, and we can only do that through offerings. As I said, last season, spent over $1,000, my family did, on new things to try to improve the show. And we're at a point now that we've exhausted that, and we can't contribute anymore. So that's why I'm coming to you all for help. I wouldn't any other way. So again, if you have the means and you love the show and it's helping you, please feel free to reach out to us and make an offering. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. There's a lot of great videos there, and it gives you more of an immersed experience. Just go to youtube.com/Faith and More podcast. You're probably watching on right now. And if you're listening, please go to the YouTube, check out this video and see of the show, and let me know what you guys think about it. Next is prayers. I love to pray, and the Faith and More family love to pray as well. So let us pray for you. There are two ways to do this. The first is to contact me directly at faithandmorepodcast@gmail.com. The second is through our website at faithandmorepodcast.wixsite.com/my-site. There's a form at the bottom of the website to request prayers, or just share what your thoughts are on the show and what you would like to see and what you're thinking of, and just anything. I love to hear from all of you. The intro and outro Oblates informational music, which I didn't get to the Oblates infomercial, excuse me, is courtesy of Ivy Music. There's a link to Ivy Music, and it can be found in the show description. Check them out and show them some love. So until next time, everyone, have a most blessed week, and know that each and every one of you are in my heart, thoughts, and prayers. Thank you.